That will be something else. And speaking of the semifinals, we're just about ready to go into that. It'll be Taurus going against High Voltage and Bigfoot versus Barefoot.
Now that I think about it, Taurus and High Voltage could be pretty scary as well. You know Jeff Kepner in that yellow Jeep. He'll do anything he has to win. We're ready to go.
Here we go. Taurus on the far side, closest to us, the little yellow Jeep, High Voltage. Both drivers psyching each other out, just about ready to go.
Looks like we've got a little psychology war going on the starting line. Neither driver willing to stage up immediately.
Taurus takes the win with about 2 lengths to spare.
Well, that looked a little deceiving. It looked originally like Taurus had a huge hole shot, but I think on the slow-mo we'll see that Jeff Kepner had no power whatsoever off the starting line. Still great reactions by the driver of the purple GMC from Granite City, Illinois. He was right there when the green light came on. These drivers, by the way, are started by green lights located at the finish line. We can't actually see the starting mechanism. It's staring the drivers right in the face. But that means Jack Wilman and the Taurus machine moves to its second final round of the year on ESPN's coverage of U.S. Auto Association events. The launch was just about perfect, but still the track is getting rough, Jerry. Look at that landing there. That is rough on the driver. Another hard bounce at the finish line, and you can see Wilman was out of the throttle. He must have looked over at some point and realized that Kepner was not going to be a threat. Now, like I said, on the replay, we should be able to see that the high-voltage Jeep ran into some kind of mechanical problem. Hey, when Jeff Kepner doesn't pick the front wheels 2 feet off the ground, there's a problem. Kepner never had the power that he needed to get around the Taurus machine, and you can just bet what he's mumbling to himself under that helmet right there. Came around at the finish line, but then he even got out of the throttle himself. He knew there was no hope. So Taurus goes to the final round, but what about this match, Jerry?
2 big blue monster machines coming to the line. This is Barefoot. Warren Davis behind the controls with a Chevrolet truck, and he'll be going against John Pyant and Bigfoot.
Now look at the scenario we've got here. So far this year, the very first event on our ESPN coverage series this year, Barefoot got runner-up in Seattle, Washington. But now Bigfoot is leading the World Championship point series. You don't think these two have something to prove to each other and to the fans? This is a war.
And the winner of this race goes against Taurus in the final.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Wild racing coming up. Let's watch it now. Feel the power. It's Barefoot.
The most incredible possible upset. Warren Davis comes out of the cab to salute the Chevy fans. He knows he's pulled off the biggest single upset possible at this event. Look at the machine carry the front wheels off the starting line. He dumped the clutch and made a go for it. A beautifully smooth run, still keeping the truck low to the ground, except for maybe there, but obviously he was going to drive away from Bigfoot. The nosedive kept him from slowing the truck. When you're in the air, the brakes don't help you much. He locked it up within 5 feet of the retaining wall. John Pyant left the line somewhat sluggishly, but you can't say Bigfoot wasn't chasing the Chevy down, Jerry.
He did a good job of driving. He held the distance down. He didn't get too much air.
And another big set of bounces for the Bigfoot Ford. They've had that problem down in the shutdown area all night. He, too, was pretty close to the wall. And now it's Barefoot versus Taurus. Plus, we've got the Camel Super Modified Mud Racing Shootout that comes around. Mud Racing qualifiers in the far lane. Tom Martin, the 2-time and defending world champion. The man who became the first ever under 2 seconds flat at this very track 2 years ago takes on John Runner.
Here we go. Tom Martin.
John Runner sliding awfully close to that disqualification banner. Look at John Runner leave the starting line. It looked like a little bit more tire spin than he had anticipated. The elapsed time 2.53 seconds. He locks up the brakes, slides within range of a safe run. Martin's machine leaps off the ground. 2.40 seconds. sideways at the finish line, trying to find fresh mud to dig in. Martin sets the pace. The quickest elapsed time of this round wins the overall Super Bowl of Motorsports championship.
Well, Tom Martin real happy with that run.
Well, he's got to be concerned. He knows that Steve Baldessar's new supercharged Ford Ranger is strong. And Tony Lannis' new Dream Chaser that we saw run 2.17 seconds, only 500 slower than Tom, is an identical copy to Tom Martin's vehicle, so he knows it's fast.
Well, those are two incredible machines, and here we go. The Dream Chaser going against All Blown Out.
The mark to beat, 2.40 seconds on the starting line for the final battle.
Look out, look out, look out. Whoa, he's over.
Tony Lannis taking a wild, wild ride. The paramedics once again right on the scene, and apparently he is A-OK. Nobody's concerned about this. I'll tell you what, that thing was so sideways at the finish line. The elapsed time, 2.52 seconds, but now it goes sideways. It takes down the finish line pole on his roof and back over. Boy, he got thrown around in there. You could see the belts holding him into the roll cage area. Jerry, that was a rough ride.
He handled it very well. Let's look at this one now.
Now, Steve Baldessar at 2.39 seconds by 100th of a second with the rear wheels in the air gets by the two-time and defending world champ Tom Martin.
Here's the finals in the monster truck. Barefoot going against Taurus. Jack Willman driving Taurus, and Warren Davis behind the controls of Barefoot. Taurus takes the win.
On the slow-motion replay, you can still see Jack Willman, conservative but still aggressive. The track extremely rough. The second jump was even rougher than the first. He noses the truck just a little bit, but he knew when he landed that he was out in front, Jerry.
Great, great race. Well, coming up, the point standings and a talk with the winners. So stay with us. Welcome back. We have with us the winner in the monster truck, Jack Willman. Congratulations, Jack. A great run on one of the biggest events on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Trail.
Yeah, there's some pretty tough competition here tonight. The lanes are getting, in pretty bad shape. And like I say, I'm glad to be a winner. And I just want to give special thanks to the owner of the truck, Jack Willman.
Your father, of course. You know, every round you had some wild rides. It looked like you were really getting beat up in there.
Yeah, the last race, like I say, the lanes was getting pretty rough. And there's getting some really big holes in the cars. And it was a really rough ride the last time. And just glad to be a winner here at the United States Hot Rod Association.
Well, about the half-track mark, you had to know you were in the lead.
Yeah, the last set of cars was really getting a big hole in them right there at the end, but a truck kind of jumped over them, and we pulled the win out.
Tremendous job nonetheless.
Thank you.
An incredible young man and an incredible truck. And, Jerry, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that machine, and that is going to make a big change in the point standings, too.
It sure is. Let's take a look at these point standings right now.
Well, Bigfoot is still number one based on his semifinal finish here tonight at 923, but look at the change we've got number two here.
Taurus is coming up fast with 884 points.
I'll tell you, we saw a couple of moves in the bottom half of the top 10. The Eliminator truck up to number 7. Jeff Painter in high voltage hanging in 8th. And probably the biggest surprise is Ray Perkowski with a 22,000-pound tow truck is actually ranked number 9 now. He's done amazingly well this year with that truck.
Ray has really come along, and he's got 476 points right now. Now in the mud standings.
Well, of course, Tom Martin, the man who won the World Championship for the last 2 years with the Mud Patrol, his semifinal finish here tonight will keep him in the lead. But Chad Miller, the man who crashed in that supercharged Instant T, has moved up to second, not only at this event, but because of performances at other ones. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple of changes in the bottom half of the top 10 of this field, too, including Dick Wilson's 18 from Florida, which moved up to 6th. And the Black Magic Corvette of Al Stebbins, which also moved into the top 10. And that's a machine that could really do some damage in the Camel Bug Monster Series as we go through this year, Jerry.
That's right, and this year is only half over, and we'll be coming up next in Oklahoma City.
That's true. Like you said, there are some 60 events in the U.S. Auto Association schedule in 1990. We've gone through about 30 of them right now. We still have half the year to go. Oklahoma City is the next stop. As you can see, when you put 65,000 people in an arena, you got to send them home all at one time. And, Jerry, there's a traffic jam out there not to be believed.
It's a dandy, but the people had a great time tonight, and they're going to go home happy.
That's for sure. An incredible event. We'll see you next from Oklahoma City on the U.S. Auto Association Mud Racing and Monster Truck National Championship Series. On behalf of myself, Bret Kepner, and Jerry Devine, thanks for being with us. See you next time.